This is Valley News Live at 10.
Good evening, everyone. We begin with breaking news out of New Orleans, where a tornado has touched down in the city's suburbs. It's part of a deadly line of severe weather that started in Texas and Oklahoma and moved east into the deep south.
It's confirmed at least one person was killed and more than 24 injured in the line of storms, and it'll still be a while before we get a real sense of the damage there. But stick with Valley News Live for the latest information. Meanwhile, close to home, much less eventful weather, but our First Alert Storm Team does have its eyes on a few things, including some flood concerns.
Hutch joins us straight away with a first look. Hutch.
Stacy and Justin, thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. Our weather here very quiet, but out in the southern part of the United States, and the tornado storms that you're talking about making their way through the New Orleans area are now pushing in towards the Birmingham, Alabama area. Not tornadic right now. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings for the Birmingham area and points south. A lot of flooding going on with these severe storms as they press eastward now. Here is a look at where we saw tornado reports today from Texas all the way into the Jackson, Mississippi area, and of course New Orleans, as you see there. For us, we do have some snow showers working their way through eastern portions of Minnesota. Those continue. For our area, though, we still are concerned about our river levels. Some areas are seeing those river levels rise up into moderate flood stage right now. The Maple River causing some problems. The Red River all the way up through Fargo and up north into the Grand Forks area and up towards Oslo starting to rise as well. That Red Lake River going through Crookston causing problems. You can get the very latest on your local river levels. And good news is, though, we're expecting minor to moderate flooding at most places, and the potential for major flooding still there, but not as high as it was. Temperatures are in the 30s. We've cooled down, and we're going to stay that way as we head into the overnight hours. Your forecast as we go through the evening looks like this for Fargo. Steady temperatures thanks to these clouds here that we have in the area, but north winds 10 to 25 miles per hour will make it feel pretty brisk out there. Colder weather as we head through your midweek day. I'll have hour-by-hour details on that. We'll look ahead.
All right, thanks, Hutch.
We have new information tonight in a story we've been following for a year now. The man charged in the shooting death of a 6-year-old Moorhead boy has been sentenced to serve almost 5 years in prison. Officials say it was 34-year-old Philip Jones Jr.'s gun that 4 children left home alone in Moorhead used to kill 6-year-old Marcellus last spring. They say the kids found the gun under a box of chips. As a convicted felon, Jones Jr. was prohibited from possessing a firearm. Marcellus's caretaker says, as tragic as it is, she doesn't think Jones Jr. should have ever been charged, saying he was out of town when the shooting happened and didn't know the 4 kids were going to be in his home unsupervised. Instead, Williams says she's fighting for Marcellus's mom to face charges and won't stop until prosecutors listen. New information now on a murder arrest on a cold case last week. Anita Knutson was an 18-year-old Minot State University student whose body was found in her apartment after being a cold case for 15 years. Her former roommate, now 34-year-old Nicole Rice, was arrested at work last week and charged with murder. Rice was being held in the Ward County Jail in Minot until she posted bond shortly after it was issued last Thursday. But Valley News Live has now learned about a prior incident for her of bail jumping. According to a 2012 affidavit from McHenry County Court, Rice failed to appear after pleading guilty to 2 counts of issuing checks without sufficient funds. She's scheduled to be arraigned April 21st.
New developments in Fargo's quest to solve a teacher shortage. Starting tomorrow, daily subs in Fargo will see a pay increase.
The school board approved the change tonight after shutting down a bigger proposed bump earlier this month. Valley News Team's Nishay Taylor joins us live now to explain. Nishay?
Stacy, Justin, currently daily subs make $112 per day, but starting tomorrow that will increase to $130 for those without a regular teaching license. And if a sub does have one, their rate will increase to $150 per day.
The issue of increasing pay for substitutes has been an ongoing discussion for the Fargo School Board.
You had weeks to do simple math. Your 75% increase is not a reason for you to vote down equitable pay, it's an excuse.
Teachers and community members have been challenging the board to come up with a solution as the need for subs became dire.
I will challenge each board member for you to give up your $1,000 that you get every month for the end of the school year to help those teachers to get more subs. So that's the challenge I want to see. There's 9 of you. Give up your $1,000 to show us that you care.
But the school board has come up with their own solution by rolling out a new pay rate for daily subs.
We're just trying to take that same pot of dollars available for us and trying to figure out what's the best strategy, because we really want to continue investing within our teaching force.
On average, the district had been down about 70 substitutes a day, and due to the shortage, many teachers have been filling in. Those teachers will now receive a rate of $150 for stepping up.
We don't want to forego and forget about our current staff that have been stepping up, and we've heard about that on a daily basis.
The district says they have since hired 40 long-term subs, which reduces how often they have to rely on daily fill-ins.
Now, the pay scale was expected to begin on April 4th, but one board member moved to begin the increase starting tomorrow. Now, the pay increase ends on May 26th, with the exception of the rate for teachers who are currently filling in. Now, that increase is now permanent.
All right, thanks, Nishay. District officials say they'll work through the summer to come up with a better solution for a substitute pay increase.
A man is still in the hospital tonight recovering from severe hypothermia after spending over an hour in frigid waters last night hiding from police in a slough. It happened near Spiritwood, North Dakota just before 7:30 when Highway Patrol says the man first led officers on a high-speed chase, then ditched the car and ran into the weeds and water.
He was so severely hypothermic, he couldn't walk, he couldn't talk, he couldn't help us get him out of the slough. And so we had to, physically lift him, carry him.
Police haven't yet told us the man's name since he has not officially been charged yet. Officers say 2 other people were also in the car at the time of the pursuit, but were arrested at the scene. New developments tonight in the case of a man accused of setting fire to the Richland County Law Enforcement Center. 24-year-old Adam Prochnow has been federally charged with trying to destroy a building owned by an organization receiving federal financial assistance. Happened back on March 2nd. He is also accused of forcing a day-long standoff with law enforcement at his home just 2 days later, but he has not yet been formally charged in that incident.
Here's a bizarre story out of Rapid City. Mayor Steve Allender says a local hotel is reportedly banning Native Americans from its property. Allender posted a screenshot of a comment that he says was written by the owner of the hotel in a since deleted Facebook post. The comment first refers to a shooting at the Grand Gateway Hotel in Rapid City a few days ago, saying because of that shooting, quote, plus all the vandalism we've had since the mayor and police department are working with the nonprofit organization Dark Money, we will no longer allow any Native American on property. Stick with Valley News Live. We'll have more information as it becomes available.
Russia's invasion of Ukraine is now into its 4th week, and today we are seeing more video of Russia bombing industrial buildings and factories in Mariupol, a city of almost 500,000 people, now basically turned to rubble. But also some more positive signs for Ukraine. Taking back a suburb of Kyiv. More than 3 million people have fled Ukraine since the invasion began. Today, Fargo City Commissioners unanimously approved a resolution to dismantle the city's contractual relationships with Russia. Now, we still don't know what those relationships were. The idea was introduced by Commissioner Arlette Preston, who added the move will not impact private Fargo businesses who have business relationships with Russia, just the city itself.
Later here on Valley News Live at 10, meet the Minnesota teen at the front lines of the political debate over period poverty.
And river levels are rising, and a look at some of the tributaries here of the Southern Valley. Nearly 19 feet is that Maple River at the Mapleton area. Now, we'll continue with some warm weather, but we do have a cool down first. I'll have all the hour-by-hour details in your forecast right after this.